welcome to Love in the Time of Hydra, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 10th anniversary podcast. If you're listening in podcast form, it's December 2nd, and I'm going to tell you what was going on in the world 10 years ago in 2014. The song Blank Space by Taylor Swift was the number one song. I'm going to be honest, I don't know that song. Like, Shake It Off, I was like, yeah, I know that one. This one, no idea. Do you know this song, Tony?
No, but, I thought All About That Bass was going to hold the title for a little longer.
Nope, it has been usurped. The number one movie at the domestic box office was The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. And this is interesting. 10 years ago, Stephen Hawking claimed that artificial intelligence could be, quote, a threat to mankind and spell the end of the human race. I don't know. I feel like Stephen Hawking may have been onto something.
He was really smart.
If nothing else, it's like killing the planet, just like literally. If it's not that they're gonna come to life. But I thought that was an interesting thing. Also, I thought this was really funny. There was a GOP congressional aide who resigned because they insulted Obama's daughters, and I'm like, how quaint. Like, can you imagine someone resigning over an insult in 2024? Wow. I know. It's what times we were living in 10 years ago. A lot of integrity back then. There were some birthdays. Britney Spears turned 33. Lucy Liu turned 46. Our boy Joe Trulio turned 44. And then Fred Heschinger, who stars in Thelma with Clark Gregg, turned, wait for it, 15.
Ooh, wow. That's weird.
I know. But of course, the most important thing that happened on December 2nd, 10 years ago, was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2 episode Ye Who Enter Here, aired on ABC at 9, 8 Central. Hi, I'm Jamie Girac, and I'm here with my co-host boyfriend and level 2 Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, Tony Paletta. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Jamie. Thank you, everyone, for listening, watching live. We appreciate you very much. Let's have a show.
Yeah, we have an amazing guest, one of our very good friends, host of a wonderful little podcast called Phased Hero, Aaron
Perine. Hi, guys.
Hey, Aaron.
My mind is blown by these pop culture nuggets from 10 years ago. Dear goodness. We live in a different time. We live in a different time now.
Yeah, it really is. It's so true. Aaron, you were on last. We talked about season 1, episode 13, Tracks, which was like a really good one. What's been going on with you since then? Have you watched any more S.H.I.E.L.D.? Did you jump right to this episode?
I watched one of the episodes right before LA Comic-Con to accompany you guys' panel. I remember that.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
And then also, just in the ether, there might have been some conversations about S.H.I.E.L.D. And people were begging us to ask Brad Winderbaum about it when we talked to Brad, was it 3-4 weeks ago? And I'm like, this is a Jamie department. This is a Jamie question. Like, why are you looking at me and Brandon and Jenna? There's only one girl on this podcast that is qualified enough to phrase this query to our friend. So yeah, that's where I've been at with S.H.I.E.L.D., hoping that they get name dropped in Captain America: Brave New World.
Oh, yes, please. Great. Good. Yes. I want that, please. What if Harrison Ford says the word S.H.I.E.L.D.? I'll lose my mind.
The second Jamie moment involving Harrison Ford, maybe second in the hierarchy, but still good.
Hell yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, hello to everyone in the chat. We've got a pop-in chat again today. I love to see it. Reminder, we are now on Blue Sky. I'm really trying not to use Twitter anymore, so follow us on Blue Sky. Also, next week is the last Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. anniversary until March, which is so sad. But we will be covering Agent Carter for its 10th anniversary starting in January on Patreon, so we're not really going anywhere. And then 2 weeks from today, on December 15th, we are doing it again, another Brett Dalton Hallmark Christmas movie. We'll be covering Once Upon a Christmas Miracle. So
unique title.
Yeah. Oh boy. Tony, why don't you tell the chat the rules?
Yeah, guys, we got rules. If you're going to say spoilery things that involve anything beyond this episode, just write spoiler alert in your comment. That protects people like me who are hopefully joining in and watching this for the first time. And we would appreciate it if everybody could do it fresh, like me. And if you don't do that, Maria, our producer, will stab you.
You heard it here first.
Mhm.
A lot of danger happening. This episode, Ye Who Enter Here, it was written by Paul Zbyszewski. Every time we have him, I get nervous about pronouncing his name, but I think I'm getting better at it. He's written many episodes we've covered, including our favorite food. And then he also did another one this season, which is Heavy is the Head. The episode was directed by Billy Gerhardt, who previously helmed Repairs and Nothing Personal. And we have everyone back, our 7 main cast members, with a lot of returning guest stars, including Patton Oswalt is back as Billy and Sam Koenig. What? Tony, what are your thoughts on all these Koenigs?
I mean, I'm sticking by my theory that there's a little room somewhere, and it's like the end of AI, where they got a whole rows and rows of Haley Joel Osments, but it's just a bunch of fucking Patton Oswalts. I'm not buying this brother business for a second. I think that they're clones. I think Patton Oswalt's been cloned a number of times. I'm triplets. I'm not buying it. I wrote down there are 38 Koenigs. That's my estimate of the actual number.
Oh, Aaron, what are your thoughts on this episode? What was it like revisiting this one?
Well, okay. So first, as is de rigueur for Disney Plus, trying to watch the episode, you click in, and I thought I clicked the wrong thing because the beginning is spooky time, and I'm like, what's going on here? What's
Yeah.
happening?
Oh, no, that's
Did I click on the wrong tile? What happened? That was kind of cool. It was really cool, really inventive. They find such cool ways to use the same sort of props. They're repeating props, like that light table, like getting used that way. I never thought about it. Big, like, here's what happens when you put a baby into an X-ray machine vibes from the Hollow Table this week. Patton walking on screen and being there was like, oh, fun. Like, I didn't know. I'm like, oh, I get one of these. Great. And I forgot about like the multiples. I kind of like spaced on it. I knew he was in a ton of these. Like just being himself. Like I didn't realize Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a stealth Mickey 17 prequel. Like when the line read when they like, how many you think? 13 is kind of where I was at, like 13. I did the same thing at the same time. So well done there. I wonder how they shot all of the. Is it Costa Rica? It's not Costa Rica. It's Puerto Rico, right?
Costa Rica.
It's Costa Rica. Yeah, I'm like, how did they shoot this? I'm wondering because all of it, if it's composite, it looks nice. It looks better than that Gal Gadot movie from a couple of years ago. I'm trying to figure out how it looks that good for being that long ago. I feel like we talk about the cinematography about this show every time I'm on here. And then the ending's crazy. I was like, what's going on? Also, I don't feel bad for any of the agents that might have gotten their heads handed to them by Ming, because all of us would. I was like, she got kicked into a pole, and I was like, same. All of us,
Yeah.
same. No one stands a chance. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Yes. Tony, what were your thoughts on this episode?
I dug it a lot. Suspenseful as hell. This show does a really good job of getting towards the end and having me think, how are they going to get out of this one? They do it over and over again. I'm always impressed. But yeah, no, the first chapter there, that nightmare that Sky is having was very disturbing, and she's wearing a flower dress, and I find that a little suspicious because. I've been asking you questions of, can Sky touch it? Can Rhaena touch it? If Rhaena can touch it, can she be immortal? If Sky, all of this stuff running through my head. This episode is really pairing those two up in a number of ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love this one because it's no secret that like I'm so excited for next week. The mid-season finale is I'm just gonna say it, a big one. Like tease the tease. I can say that it's a big one, and they're really doing a good job of building towards it. Like next week's gonna be like fucking insane. And this one just has, there's so much packed into this episode that I love, but the reason why this one really hits me hard is that we just get a lot of good Fitzsimmons stuff. Like it's just everything with Fitzsimmons is so sad, and we'll get into it as we go through the episode, but I just love the two of them together, and even when it is sad and they're not clicking because they just Ian and Elizabeth just work so well together, and it makes me happy to see them. And like fucking Mac, what's going on? It's so scary. Mac filled out a big old hole. So yeah, we'll get into all of that, but I think this is such a good episode. They're just really ramping up. But we'll start with, of course, Sky's dream, which we've talked a little bit about already. This is a very intense scene. I think it's clear from the beginning that it's a dream. Tony, were you ever like, what's happening? Did you know it was a dream?
Yeah. I mean, I knew it was a dream. Yeah. I think when Agent Coulson lays a baby on a sacrificial altar, I'm pretty sure it's a dream.
Even from the beginning, like as soon as like Sky is running in a dress barefoot, like look, it feels like a dream, like instantly.
Yeah, then the way they're editing it and the effects are telling you this is not reality. Sure.
I also love the like Wanda the May and Coulson like baby thing is just like because they're like the parents of the group, so I think that's a fun thing. And then the poison tree, poison fruit line is interesting before they abandon that baby.
Yeah, it's spooky, man. Subconscious is a mean bitch.
Yeah. Interesting clocking of the flower dress. Aaron, any thoughts on this? Like, other than like you don't like scary things, so were you like this?
I thought you did this as a goof on me for a second, but it was very effective. It was very effective. I was like, oh yeah, they're the parents, and oh, don't go, please don't leave me. And this baby just sitting there looking like it lost the Gerber baby contest. Just this adorable child, this weird glowing table. And then I guess segueing right into something that's just similarly unnerving because the remote control car is the same. It's very strange for me as well. I'm like, are we still in it? Are we in a simulation inside of a simulation? What's going on? It was good though. I like that this show allows itself to do things like that. Like in other things that we have to watch, Jamie, like they don't give themselves time to breathe. That's the fun of network television, right?
100%. And you bring up the next scene of Mac's little Lola car, which is so funny because one, where did he get that doll? Did he like get a Barbie and like dress it? Like it's less about the car and more about the Coulson doll that he created. It's so funny, but I do love Fitz like, how'd you get it to fly? Mac's like, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's only the Mach 1. Maybe it'll fly in the next season or something.
And then we see Mac kind of sees Bobby and Hunter flirting, and he's like, "Oh, a storm's coming," and it feels like he's talking about their couple, the fact that they're like clearly they keep breaking up, but I feel like there's something bigger in what he's saying there too.
Yeah, I guess I thought that. I mean, I interpreted it as that he's got the hots for Bobby and he's jealous that there. I mean, like I was really trying to interpret that look because he really was. He like very focused and like and like embarrassed about it. Kind of, I don't know. It was like I didn't know how to read that really.
Interesting. I definitely took it as like, oh no, these two again.
Yeah,
but interesting. Okay, Aaron, what about you?
It had a little bit of Sammy Ronnie rolling our eyes as we're going out to the club vibe to it. He spends a lot of this episode brooding, like, oh God, just surrounded by all of you. I just want to do my mission and go home. And then before he can do it, he falls in a hole. I'm with Tony too. There was like a weird bit of like something where I'm like, oh right, I had to get back into the show and understand like that's not what's going. Like he's just concerned. He's got like this older brother thing going on. If in this family dynamic that we built with Coulson and them being a family unit, he's like older brother with his varsity jacket and a football. Like, man, he's trouble. Don't do it.
I like that. I think that's a good way to describe Mac. And then we have the scene with we learned that Fitz doesn't want to talk to Simmons, and I do like that Mac's like kind of over that. Like these like, all right. But we'll talk more about that later. But what Simmons is up to is she's fixing up Trip, who I'm sure Aaron from context clues you gathered that he got shot last week. And then there's this kind of ominous, like something really bad is about to happen. I think Sky says that. What do you think about this, Tony?
Oh, I don't remember that line. She
Mm.
alludes to something like basically what Mac was saying, like a storm is coming kind of thing, or
Kind of, yeah, basically.
oh, I didn't clock it when she said it. I feel like they're right based on how this episode ended, but I didn't clock her acknowledgement of it.
Okay.
I was so
Aaron,
worried
did
for
you
this
have any
man while
feelings
he's putting
about
on
this?
that shirt. I was
Yeah.
so worried for him. I'm like, oh God, something bad's gonna happen. Like, why are we like, oh God. I worry. I worry. I'm like, oh, this poor man. He's fun. Like, please don't have anything bad happen to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like afterwards, I was like, oh, putting it together later.
We have this meeting. Then they, Hydra's on the move. They're trying to figure out like that this weapon is like an extinction level event, which is a term that we hear a lot. Extinction level event. This is interesting. There's a little tidbit for you. So I think it's Trip is like asked about the Bermuda Triangle, and Coulson says we solved that in the 80s. And I was like, I wonder if that's a comics thing. So I Googled Bermuda Triangle Marvel Comics, and nothing specifically came up from the 80s, but I did learn some interesting tie-ins of the Bermuda Triangle in comics. It was first mentioned in X-Men #4 in January 1964. But here's a fun one. This is good. As part of her plan to recreate the Darkhold, Agatha Harkness brought several heroes she took control of through chaos magic to the Bermuda Triangle. And there she initiated a ritual using orbs of chaos magic, but sabotaged by the intervention of the Avengers. So I love this about like Agatha taking a bunch of people to the Bermuda Triangle, but then the Avengers stopped her.
Whoa, that's wild. So it's her all along.
Oh, another thing is that apparently Weird World, which is one of the domains of Battle World, is accessible through the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, okay. Word. You got to use it. You got to use it. You got your own like real life spooky natural mythos. Put it in your comics. Have some fun with it.
Yes. Do either of you have any thoughts about the Bermuda Triangle before we move on?
Not specifically, Jamie. I think I'm good. Aaron?
I think I'm okay too.
Great. Well, we all learned something. Okay, now we're in Vancouver. Raina's with some man that she's, tricked into being her boyfriend or whatever. She's going to get some chia water, which Tony really laughed at that. You really liked that, Tony.
I actually, no, I wasn't laughing at that so much as that, like, she's just got herself a fresh bitch. Like, we're just getting introduced to this guy. He's like, anything you want. And I'm like, I love her so much.
You know what it reminded me of? She reminds me because we just watched a Saffron episode of Firefly. She's got Saffron vibes. A seductress. Aaron, if you recall, Saffron's Christina Hendricks on Firefly. Yeah.
Good point,
very
good
similar. Call. And then we see Agent 33 with May's melty face, which is just so cool. Tony, I'm sure you kind of forgot about her.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I was very confused for a second there. And then I remembered the May versus May fight. And I was like, oh, yeah. You got fucked up. I don't yet. Did they explain why she's still wearing it? She could get a fresh one.
Well, it's like fused to her face.
Because of the way I love that.
Because of the way that May electrocuted her, she can't get it off.
That's awesome. I mean, give me an excuse to have a pair of Mings and I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. Aaron, did you remember this? The Agent 33 May face?
Okay. It took me a second because I was like, wait, why is May like why is May here? This doesn't make sense. And then when she put it on, like, oh no, run, girl, run. Like leave that man and get out of there. And this poor guy, he's gone. Bye. See you later. Chill. He's over with. But yeah, I was like, I'd take my chances with the people outside in the suits for sure. Then tussling with her. No, thank you.
Agreed. And this is where we meet Sam Koenig. We've met Eric Koenig's R.I.P. We've met Billy Koenig, and now we got Sam Koenig. I actually forgot that we met Sam in this episode, and that like what a fun little treat. It's just like Patton is so cute in this role. I love the Koenigs so much. Whether or not they're what'd you call them? Did you say
little Haley Joel Osment clones? There's a whole rack of them in a room somewhere.
Yes. Oh, will we ever know? I don't know. But that was a fun. I like that. I like that the Koenigs are the ones that are like trailing Reina, because it's like not. It's like an important job, but not one that you would send May on. Like where Reina's like, "Oh, May, what are you doing here? Fuck, May's too busy for you, bitch."
Yeah, I do not think Koenig, Patton Oswalt is just an unsuspecting dude. Good guy for a tale. It gets weird when there's two of them around the corner, but I like him for this gig, and I always like seeing him in these episodes. It's funny. It's funny watching Oswald in an action scene, though. I'm gonna say like later when they're getting into a fight with Agent 33 looking like May. They're like, take the stairs. He's like, go to the stairs now. And I'm just like, Patton, you this isn't exactly your realm, but I fucking love you, man.
Oh gosh.
I'm like, we're never gonna get Pip, right? Like, because he's also the voice of Pip at the end of Eternals. That's never happening, right?
I don't think so.
Aaron's just saying, no way.
Put it on the list. Put it on the list of things. I'm sure Brandon has a match list somewhere.
If they keep doing Dark World stuff, there's no reason they can't bring Pip into things. You know what I mean?
We're gonna drop a line to Joe and Anthony Russo and be like, "Hey, man, so go talk to Patton and see if he's busy. Just bring him. Even if he doesn't do anything but provide exposition, please do it." I really was truly surprised. I was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be so much." Like I'm like, God, goated episode to come here and talk with you guys about it, because he does. Tony's right. He fits in with like the sort of like nerdy kind of like inside, telling us what the exhibition is, using this hysterical awesome prop. Like I'm like, that's making television, baby. It's like, how do we make this look a certain way? Umbrella, nylon, LED strip, first generation LED strip. And I also now want one of the Koenigs to be a TVA person, because I think the same thing, Tony. Ooh. I would kill for him to get flipped. Flipped into action scene somehow. I would die happy. I'm very happy they didn't have him do anything though. I'm like, don't hurt the boy. But having him there is very funny.
I will say something about the umbrella, which I had a really dumb moment where he turned the umbrella on and it's this cloaking device, and I was like, whoa, invisibility cloaking device. That's cool. We haven't seen this in the show yet. Cut to the fucking plane flying. I was like, oh yeah. We've had this for a minute. We've had this since the show started. What the fuck am I talking about?
Well, I mean, it's just cooler when it's an umbrella,
Sure. Yeah.
So from there, they're splitting up the teams. They want to extract Reina, and all that business. But then we get a good scene between Gemma and Bobby. This is what I love. I love the personal drama, and there's a lot going down. Like Gemma's confused. She even said she barely had a moment to process. And I like this because I really like the idea of, she's like, he was my best friend. I never thought about him as anyone else. And then it's confusing. And I don't know if anyone here has surprisingly fallen in love with their best friend, but it is a total head trip. When it just happens out of nowhere, when you didn't expect it, or the idea of oh, this person likes me. I never thought about them that way, but they are my best friend. Maybe I gotta rethink some things. But then, oh, they have brain damage. Oh no.
Yeah, that's a hard ticket to sell, man. I think Elizabeth Henstridge is so good in this episode, and it's excruciating to not only watch her avoid Fitz, but watch everyone else on the team, meaning Bobby and Mac, have to intervene with them. And yeah, exactly. Just kind of tiptoeing into their sphere to try and sew this thing up. It's heart-wrenching, this episode.
I also like Bobby's comparison to the roller coaster, with the way that she's experienced romance, and then it goes right to her saying to Hunter, "Don't die out there." And he goes, "It's Canada," which I love that line. But yeah. Aaron, tell me what your thoughts on this kind of. I like how Defrosted Robot in the comments says, "Not passing the Bechdel test today, though," which is funny. Yeah, the girls are talking about boys, and sometimes we do that.
Yeah.
It's one of the many charms of this era of like network television that has superheroes in it. Like I feel like we're all poor that there's not just weird pulpy like romance slash relationship drama in some of these other shows. Like I was like, oh yeah, that's right. This is like mandated. There has to be interpersonal drama. Like we have to do. Like we're going to do this. And I thank them for reminding me. Like yes, we were locked at the bottom of the ocean. There was a very dire like life or death situation, and then he said this thing, and then everything went to absolute shit. And she did not have adequate time to process. She didn't have the time to like do anything. She just had to kind of react, and now they're like in this weird spot. And the poor boy's struggling too. He's struggling, poor guy.
Boy,
But
breaks my heart.
yeah, it's like, I don't know if it's just like him in this like very you should have a skateboard in your hand outfit that they have him in almost regularly, the flannel over like Carhartt jacket thing that's like very Andrew Garfield of the time. But she's right to feel that way. And I think like even though we're probably you're right, we probably aren't passing the Bechdel test. I liked how their conversation went, that she could assert herself without him just bleh at the end of near the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One thing I also enjoyed before they all separate is this moment where Sky hugs Coulson, and then because it's like he's the direct. Like, imagine if someone were to do that with Nick Fury. Like,
Still
Not-
cute. Though.
bye.
Still cute.
Non Villani delegation hug.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just cute. And then then we have this interesting scene with Bobby and Mac, where Bobby Mac is like, "Are you bringing Hunter in on the other thing?" Tony, do you know what they're talking about? Do you have any assumptions or guesses here?
Who says what to what? Who now? Say it again.
Mac says to Bobby, he's talking about her and Hunter, and she's like, I know, and gluttons for punishment, and he goes, "Are you bringing Hunter in on the other thing?" And she's like, "No, I don't want him involved in that."
I don't know what the other. It must have blown right by me.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Do you, Aaron? Do you remember what they could be talking about? Don't say it.
We were talking about when she's about to fly the Quinjet, right? Like she's in the pilot seat. Yeah. I have suspicions.
Okay.
I'm trying to crib over myself here as to prove the gambit. Tony, buckle up, champ.
All right. Y'all are going to talk when I leave the room, so I'll just sit here quietly. Yeah.
Everyone in the chat,
stay tuned.
like, let me in. Let's just do it now.
Then we have this fun little Koenig trap. Like the Koenig set the trap, and then Hunter just knocks that guy out. I love that scene. Somebody call ambulance. This guy fainted. I think that's really funny. And then we have a lot of cute Billy Sam bits where they're both like, "I'm Sam, Billy's the shorter one. I'm Billy, Sam's the shorter one." Just some cute stuff. But here's like the real meat of the episode is the Sky Agent 33 fight. Like, first of all, Ming is working overtime. Like, damn, this fight is so good. I love this whole fight scene. Aaron, talk to me. How do you feel about this like hand-to-hand business that's going on?
Once again, just something like I'm like, wow, you don't get a whole lot of this. Like they was really scrapping. Like it was really scrapping. It's like blocked really well so that you can hide where we need to composite things together. But like I said before earlier, I'm like, I was like, man, she gonna get her ass whooped. And sure did. It came up with like a busted lip, like something else going on over here, and I'm sure like little cartoon duckies before they get the jump on Agent 33 and knock her out. But yeah, I was like, man, look at like this. They're really going after it. I'm like, geez, this is a lengthy sequence too. It must have been like really fun to like get, and it's like not that big of a room too. So I'm like, how did they fit 3 cameras in here or 2 cameras in here to get all of this? It's like it would be fun to see. I need to go look the behind the scenes stuff.
I'm sure there's something. Yeah, it's the DVDs sadly are kind of scarce for season 2, but I haven't checked in terms of behind the scenes, but I know there are no commentaries. Tony, what did you think of that fight scene?
Oh, it was good. Honestly, I was really proud of Sky. I would say realistically, I don't know. I feel like she should have gotten her ass kicked a little sooner, just based on their, the imbalance of their skill set, because Sky is holding her own for a minute there and does, to the writer's credit, lose that fight as she should. But I did really like how vicious it was. Going for a gun on the floor. I mean, busting into another room. It was good shit.
Yeah. And then we've got the San Juan, we've got Coulson and Bobby. And there's this fun little moment where Coulson looks at hats and he goes, I wish I was a hat guy. And Tony said out loud, I was gonna say. I like that Tony clearly had thoughts on how Clark Gregg was gonna look in the hat.
He did. He went and picked up that hat, and I was like, I don't think that's gonna work. And he's like, I'm not good at hats. And I was like, oh, thank God. Yeah, he's not a hat guy.
Mm. And then we have this interesting interaction with Bobby and Coulson where she asks him if he wants to keep this weapon, and there's kind of this comparison with Fury and acceptable losses. I hate that phrase. I'd rather use a scalpel than a shotgun. And Aaron, what are your thoughts on like the Coulson versus Fury of it all? Like again, no one's hugging Fury.
No one is hugging Fury, but that's because he's rather scarce, I think. Maybe they could have gotten away with it if Sam had been around. I really love like the dichotomy between the two, especially because we're from the future, so we're cheating and we've seen all the rest of the MCU stuff. So it's like, yeah, Coulson is a little bit more of a Boy Scout than old Nick Fury is in a lot of ways. I also like though that when he says the scalpel shotgun thing, and she's like, well, what if you need a shotgun? He's like, well, I think I brought you. He's always like one step ahead. He might not be as much of a like, we're gonna raise hell, but he also absolutely has a plan. Absolutely has contingencies on contingencies. This is a very capable person. And that's one thing I really like in John Clark Gregg's always like Johnny on the spot. Hat choice otherwise.
Yep.
You agree, Tony?
I agree.
Any extra?
I agree. I agree with echoing what Aaron's saying. Clark Gregg's literally just describing why I like this character so much. It's the conscientiousness. It's the I don't like acceptable casualties. I don't like measuring things in terms of what we can afford to lose. It's all or nothing. It has to be number one. He's the man. Coulson's the man. I don't know if he's going to be a better director, but like, man, he's great. Love that guy.
Mm-hmm. Tony, if of any of the current Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters, if you were going to make them a director over Coulson, who would you pick?
Oh, I wouldn't pick anybody over Coulson.
Well, you have to. You have to. That's the game. He's gone.
I see. Oh, Coulson's gone, so somebody has to step up and be director?
Yeah.
Oh, nobody can do that. I would say, I mean, the next in line is Ming.
S.H.I.E.L.D. shut down.
Yeah. It's no, okay, fine. They fold it up. Because like even Ming is like, she is got so much rage and she does things impulsively. I think that could be dangerous as a S.H.I.E.L.D. director. She also does everything herself, so she'll never be in the office. So I think we got to fold up S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's it. Okay, interesting. So we have this really cute scene or sad scene, depending how you look at it, where Matt leaves Fitzsimmons. He's like, I can't take this awkward silence. But that leads to like a really sweet scene where they're both trying to get out their feelings, and Fitz basically says he wants to leave the lab. And he says, I can work for you, I just can't work with you. And I was getting real teary in here. Aaron, how'd you feel about this?
Oh, it was super sad. I was like, oh my God. Also, I'm like, baby, I think you should be in the lab while you're still recovering. I don't know how good you're going to be in the field misremembering like things.
Well, like, Mac's more like in the garage. Like it's less field because Mac goes in the field sometimes, but he's really kind of just like the mechanic.
Yeah, like I think the episode I was here for last time, he was out in the field, and it was like hey, I ain't really supposed to be out here type situation where he's like, hey, shouldn't we wait for everybody else to come do what I'm supposed to do? But the heart wants what it wants. It was really, really gripping and really like kind of sad. It's like, oh, like even after she expressed what she expressed, he was still like, no, I still got to run. I still got to run away. And I'm like, no, don't run. Like, embrace it. You two work better together. Like this is not how it's supposed to be. So yeah.
Tony, any extra thoughts on this scene?
No, I don't have any extra thoughts. It's sad. I don't like it. But it's all organic. I mean, it's sincere stuff that's going on. As Aaron was describing earlier, you make a profession of love followed by being jettisoned to the surface of the ocean and suffering brain damage. It's not going to be fair or even or equal or anything. It's a mess. It's a mess. And I do appreciate that Mac gave them the opportunity to cry about it together.
Yeah, it's sad, but I love drama. That's what I signed up for. We are going to take a quick, this is a meaty episode. We have so much to talk about. So we're going to take our quick 30-second break, fill up your drinks, go to the bathroom. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Love in the Time of Hydra. We are talking Ye Who Enter Here with Aaron Perine. Oh, so much going on. We got Coulson and Bobby now looking for this city. They're not really, what's happening. Sky and Hunter, they have Raina. Whitehall has the Diviner, and this is when Raina reveals I can hold the Diviner. And while all of this important stuff is going down, all I can think of is wipe your face, Sky. Like, just take a minute. Get the blood off your face. You're dripping, girl.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was saying about Hunter's shirt in that one episode where he got into a bad car accident. And the first episode of this season, walking around for 3 scenes later, 3 different locations, still in a bloody white shirt. Change your fucking shirt. Wipe your face. Yeah.
And this is where we kind of knew this already, but Raina explains like the Diviner reads DNA. You'll understand when you touch it that it's our destiny. As Tony said, it seems like there's a lot of connective tissue here between these two characters in this episode. And then Raina, friggin' little bitch, she's like, "Oh, that's why Hydra wants me. Bye!" And then she runs off to Hydra, but they don't get her because May fucking hits the shit out of those 2 Hydra guys with the car.
Oh, big time.
Tony and I went, oh.
Yep. Yeah. I regarding the Raina stuff, because I clock on that flower dress, and then a little while later, they're having their interaction on the bus. I'm jumping ahead a bit, I guess, but she says Raina's talking about her Shield ID badge, and then she says to Sky, "We match." And I'm like, "Ooh, I don't like that. That's implicating even more and more how similar they are and their connectivity." It's eerie.
Aaron, what was your reaction to those 2 guys getting hit by that?
Forget what I was saying. I was talking about intrigue and Raina and how they're pretty much the same, but like 2 fucking guys got hit by a van.
2 dudes did get hit by a van though. I mean, they got fucking ran over. Like they got done like freaking Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Like they not going to be a Rush Hour 3. They done. I also love these poor people in this little neighborhood have now had 3 different things happen where someone has just yelled something and then there was immediately carnage. Like dude got snuck and slept outside like whatever coffee shop or whatever. This lady yells, "Hey, I'm over here." These 2 dudes try and come help. They get immediately run over by a car like Grand Theft Auto. It's very funny to think about the normal people in the Marvel universe and how eventful a day can be. Also, you're right. Like they're layering, I don't know if there was like strings behind it or something when she was like, "We're very alike." And I was like, "Oh, that's not good. That's not good. That doesn't sound good at all. That sounds bad." Like, you sure you want those badges to match? That's not to keep her away from me. Give her a different color.
Yeah.
And in this scene with Raina and Sky, like we then start talking about Sky's dad. He's emotional, he's violent, but he's quite misunderstood. You're all he wants. And then we get that does special mean alien? And then that's when Raina, she finally says the words Kree. I couldn't remember if they had said Kree before because we did see the blue alien body, but this is the first time we hear the word Kree on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Tony, I know that you kind of knew this because we've talked about it, but you were like, "Oh, they said it."
Yeah. I mean, I saw that alien. It looked like a Kree, and then all signs point to yes. I mean, even the that subterranean architecture's got like, I mean, all of it pointed to Kree, so I wasn't surprised. I'm glad I'm glad it's out there. I'm glad we're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
There's the back when we had so much hope, Jamie. We're like, it's all gonna connect. It's gonna be in the movies. It's gonna be all of it together. Goodness gracious. But yeah, we've been talking about blue blood and blue body parts for a while in the old MCU. It was nice to hear. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
It's all connected, baby.
that's right.
And then it's cave time. We do have a cute Fitzsimmons moment where like they are in sync for like a minute, and it was really special, and I loved that. Mac's going down. He's not afraid of heights, but he's afraid of the dark. Good luck, buddy. And that's when, like, meanwhile, Sky is like, something's bad. And did you catch? They were like, Shield 616. I've never caught the 616 reference in this episode before. Aaron, did you catch this?
Until just now, and now, yeah. Ooh, boy, we got something to annoy Brandon with. Hooray! Yes.
Man, I was like, whoa, that blew my mind that we got a 616 reference up in here.
Somebody need to tell Brad and Kevin so they can get everybody off their backs. Apparently, we've been here the entire time.
This was long before they referred to the sacred timeline as 616, much to Aman Vellani's dismay and a lot of the rest of us. But we're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
So, all right. So Whitehall's coming to get Raina. Mac gets down that hole, touches something. He's like burned with the symbols. He's screaming. He's freaking out. Tony, what are your thoughts on this moment? Everything's going terribly wrong.
Yeah, you're right. It is. I saw it. It's bad. I feel bad for Mac. I really like that guy. He's been big brother and hard in this episode. So, and he's huge. He's a huge man. Scary as fuck when he gets possessed by whatever the hell this magic is. Yeah, I was nervous.
Aaron, were you scared again? Were you watching like this again?
I'm sitting there like, what? Because like, you get a ping on your phone. I'm trying to ignore it. And then I look up and my man's on the ground screaming. And I'm like, well, he fell. The hole got him. But then also, like, you gotta watch where you fall. And then the rest are like, oh no. And prepare to be boarded. I'm like, what in the Star Trek? Oh God, everything is hitting the fan at the same time. Like, oh. The drama, you don't really get this kind of elevator. And I was like, and then we're not nowhere. I'm like, we're nowhere near the end of the episode. Like, there's gonna be so much more that happens.
Yeah, no, this is what I mean. The cross-cutting between those two sequences was nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because the Hydra now infiltrated the plane, and then Ward shows up, and I literally went, "Oh yeah, he's in this." I was like,
I knew it was gonna be his dumbass.
We were free of Ward for so long in this episode. I was like, "Oh yeah." He's fucking here. And then, like, pick a side, Ward. Oh, I have. All right. Did you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I am true. I said it, the past couple episodes. I am genuinely intrigued by whatever his play is, right? He's got something going on. I don't think he's working for Hydra. I don't necessarily think he's working for S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't think he's lying. So, I'm intrigued. I still think he's a dick. So I was not happy to see him yank Sky off of that bus. Fuck Ward.
I do like that the Koenigs got a little moment to like call him out for killing their brother.
Yeah. Well, yeah. One of the Koenigs is like, "Am I gonna fucking shoot this guy?" And the other Koenig's like, "No, we can't do it." And he's like, "Okay." Like, this was all done through looks, but yeah, it was a nice moment.
Mm-hmm. And then let's see. Any extra thoughts on this plane invasion scene, Aaron?
I mean, it's just a hilarious standoff. Like, it's just like, yo, like, I'm like, forget shooting it out the sky. I'm like, every other person in here was just in this fool and they don't care. I love my man in the corner making a very silly point. Like, they're just going to blow up the plane anyway. So why are we even having this conversation? I'm like, I'm sad to say I'm kind of with Homeboy. They're literally Hydra. They have no honor. Ward is a dog. The last time I was on this show, Tony was like earlier in the journey. So we were all waiting on it like, oh man, he's going to be so upset. So I'm glad we're here. I'm glad to have seen the beef is real. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
The truth has come out.
The truck's coming.
And then meanwhile, back in the cave area, Mac's all possessed. He's choking Bobby. Gemma almost falls in the hole. And that's when Bobby electrocutes Mac, and then he falls. And that's like that's 100 feet deep. And then Coulson's like, seal the tunnel. What about Mac? That wasn't Mac. Tony, is Mac dead? What do you think?
I mean, no, I don't think he's dead. But I also don't know how he survives a fall like that. He did take, 3 or 4 icers to the back, and like I think perhaps whatever has possessed him with those engravings has made him stronger. I mean, he whacked Coulson. Coulson went flying like a rag doll into a wall. I mean, I know Mac's big and strong, but that's super soldier shit. So like, I'm thinking he ate it pretty hard on the ground, but I bet he's still alive.
And poor Fitz, his new friend, like he just can't catch a break with his friends.
Yeah.
Aaron, did you remember about Mac falling into that hole? All this was intense.
I remember it. Funny enough, I remember the underground city, because I was like, okay, that's in his. Okay, that's excellent. But then I'm like, oh shit, he did fall down this hole. Oh no! And like when they sealed it, I was like, oh man, no one even did. The chat saying like somebody should have gave him a pizza. I'm like, for real, they just left my man down there, like, you'll figure it out, big homie. Like, you'll figure it out.
We love you, buddy. Eat this.
Love you, right?
Treat him right. So that was like a big cliffhanger, and then we get the end tag, which is Agent 33 in Whitehall, talking about Sky, and clearly Ward veered from Hydra's plan. Whitehall seems mad that Ward let the plane go, and now the episode ends with shoot down the plane. Oh my god, are they all gonna die?
Oh my god.
Pretty sure, yeah. I'm pretty sure all the main characters are gonna die in the next episode.
Great. Aaron, before we get on to some history, do you have any extra thoughts about the episode that we didn't cover that you'd like to talk about?
I'm trying to think about if we missed anything else. I don't think so.
I have very diligent notes.
Jamie's a very
diligent notes.
woman.
I'm like, I don't think we missed anything at all. Go ahead, Jay.
Tony?
Oh, I think I incorrectly corrected you, Aaron. I think it was Puerto Rico, not Costa Rica.
Really? Oh,
yeah. Do you know, Jamie? Are we going to go into facts? You
Yeah.
can tell me some mystery.
Puerto Rico. I believe that Jeremy clarified that in the comments earlier.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Yes. Yeah. So Aaron, we have a new segment on Lido called Who's the Episode MVP? I will let Tony answer first, since you don't know about it. You can have a moment to think about it. Tony, who's your episode MVP?
I've been thinking about it, and I think for me, it's Elizabeth Henstridge.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Good answer. Aaron? Did I give you enough time?
I'm so tempted to do Ming, because like the double duty is a lot. But I'm gonna go Patton, because I just really enjoy his silliness.
Okay.
I really enjoy the silliness of having them around. It's nice. And there's a lot of like heavy emotions and other stuff. He's just there being a silly little guy. He's a chill little guy who has his brother with him, Just a chill guy.
I love that. My pick was Ming, because like she's pulling double duty. She had to sit in a makeup chair for a long time, and then she had to fight Chloe, which I'm sure was a lot of fun. And I forgot to do this last episode, where I want to post on Instagram who our MVP was. So this week, since there's no clear winner, I'll just do a threer. An old threer.
The old threer back on the gram.
I need you to remind me to start doing that.
Okay.
Tony, that's not your job, Aaron.
Oh, I thought you meant Aaron. All right.
All right. So a few little historical facts here. So as we talked about, this is the first Kree mention, and Jed Whedon was asked. I assume it was Jed. Just said Whedon. I'm going to assume it was Jed. Was asked whether this counts as a series tie-in with Guardians, which of course came out earlier this year, he said, it is a very far away other galaxy, so it's a little bit harder to have one of them walk into our set. So a direct tie-in is a little bit more challenging. But it's all one universe, so there's always opportunity for more. In Guardians, we saw parts in our universe that we hadn't explored yet. So it shows we're a part of that, though. Which, yeah, like, obviously, we kind of knew all that. But it is interesting, like, that they were getting asked these questions back then. And it's fun to have, like, these kind of quotes.
Yeah, it's just what Aaron was saying earlier, that hopeful time when you thought this is all going to fold over into itself as opposed to staying in its own little annex for most of the time.
Mhm. And I wrote in my notes at one point, because Tony and I just watched a horror movie called As Above, So Below. And I was thinking about how this was reminding me of that. And
Me
then I
too.
realized that the title, Ye Who Enter Here, comes from the original English translation of Dante's Divine Comedy, specifically the inscription over the gates of hell, abandon all hope, ye who enter here. So then that's kind of what As Above, So Below is about. So
Yeah.
if you really like the scary parts of this episode specifically, go watch that movie. It is a genuinely scary movie. Aaron would
Yeah.
not like it. It is scary.
Oh no, I'm aware of it, and you are correct. You are big facts. Like I'm like,
Mhm.
ooh, Letterbox is just 1 star. And that's what my review would be. I'm like, oh no, no, that's
And-
me yelling.
Finally, the side of the building during Raina's attempt to escape Sky is a building used in a very famous film. Tony, do you have a guess? Kind of that brick wall.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, is it Reservoir Dogs?
no, but that's a good guess. It's a
Oh.
80s movie.
Okay, it's a brick wall, which I'm trying to just picture all the brick walls I've seen in movies
Mhm.
since I've had memory. I think you're just gonna have to tell me.
It is from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The
Okay, wouldn't have
inside
gotten it.
yeah, the building wasn't filmed, but the front of the building that was Eddie Valiant's office. And the address is here in LA. It's 1130 South Hope Street. If you want to go see the very famous Eddie Valiant's office, or that place where Raina ran away from Sky one time.
I did clock it as being downtown, so I'm glad to know I was right that it's on Hope Street.
Before we kick Tony out, Aaron, where can the people find you?
Oh man! So now that we've all become refugees from different parts of the internet, it's at Summit Lake Hornet everywhere. So Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads. Shoot, at this point, we need to make out like a makeout club. Also over at Phase Hero at bluesky.com as well, and on the BD YouTube channel where me and Jamie and Jenna and BD talk about Wicked. And Jamie tells you guys, hey, y'all don't need to be singing in these screenings of Wicked. Not yet.
Not yet.
Amen. Hell yeah.
Cynthia Erivo, why'd you have to go join the Rock with people that are on my shit list this week? It's fine. Go see Wicked. I'm seeing it for a 4th time tomorrow. It's amazing. Tony, before we kick you out, do you have anything else to say? Do you have some goodbyes to give?
Oh yeah, I'll do some thank yous to Stephanie at Eclectic Muses on socials for doing our artwork, and thank you to Ryan Miera of Yellow Pills at Yellow Pills Music on Instagram for doing our music, and thank you to our producer Maria. Thank you, producer Maria.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Aaron.
Remi-
It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you,
Yes.
Tony.
We love Aaron so much. Reminder to follow us at LitoPod on Instagram and Blue Sky. Like and subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, all those places. Leave us those 5-star reviews. It helps us spread the word, and the more people that we get, the more likely we can get people from the show. You know what I'm saying? So if you're watching with Tony and you don't want spoilers, get the fuck out.
Leave the room. Gotta go.
Is he gone? Get him out of here. There we go. Thank you, Maria. I have a lot of notes. Some weeks I don't have a lot to say, but I have a lot to say this week.
Yeah.
First of all, something that I've never clocked before that the music box in the beginning is playing A Bicycle Built for Two. And if you don't know that song, the lyrics go, Daisy, Daisy, give me an answer true. And I can't believe I've never clocked that before. What a good Easter egg.
From the literal first moments, I was like, oh, Jesus, this must be right before it happened. So I was like, how are we just going to, me and Jamie just whistling like Ashley Simpson trying to avoid this the entire time?
Next week, okay, so I believe that next week we find out her name is Daisy, and I'm torn. Chat, help me out with this one. I'm torn between if once we hear the name, I can just do we call her Daisy from now on, or do we wait till season 3 when she officially adapts the name? Like, because I haven't decided if it's like she's Daisy now, we can call her Daisy, we're finally free, or is that kind of spoiling for Tony that she's going to take on the name? Do you have an opinion on this, Aaron?
I try to protect the boy because he's done such a good job not being protected, not being spoiled on some of certain things. Like, I think it would be a real surprise for him when it's like all out in the open. But I'm sure you guys will actually talk about it and maybe let him decide. But yeah, I would probably wait till full season 3 till we just get there.
Everybody in the chat says wait till season 3. All right, I can wait another fucking year. I can call her Sky. It's almost like September. We'll have to wait. But everyone in the chat agrees. So all right, you guys asked and answered. But if Tony wants to start calling her Daisy, I don't think he will. And I'm curious. He knows Quake. He's read comics, and I'm curious if he's going to click it immediately when he hears the name Daisy. I'm going to let him figure that out on his own. But when Sky says to Trip something bad's about to happen, it's like Trip dies the next week.
Yeah,
and that's sad. Did you remember that he was about to die?
I remember. I'm like, we are up against a mid-season thing, and I'm like, well, who was not there at the end of season 2? I'm like, oh, as soon as it happened, I'm like, oh God, yikes!
It's so sad. But at least we get a cute cameo from him in season 4, so we'll see BJ Britt again, which is nice. It's funny. I did forget, like I said, that Sam Koenig comes back, and it's so funny because we never really get the answer about the Koenigs in Hot Potato Soup in season 4. Like, it is kind of just established that they're actual people, because in season 7 we get like a Koenig, like one of their ancestors in the 20s.
Yeah.
But it is funny, like they really did try to trick us for years about the Koenig thing.
Tony's jokey like AI thing is so funny because I'm like, oh, you're not gonna get no answer, buddy. We're going real nebulous for at least a year or 2. You won't know. We're gonna have to keep this up with him, But yeah, it's not, and I think it benefits from like that sort of openness too, because it's just fun when you leave it open for yourself like that.
Yeah, I like that. Like, there's like Patton can always come back. It's really fun. And then just all the Fitzsimmons stuff. I'm like, we're so far away from their first kiss, which is like halfway through season 3, I think. And I'm just like, I want them to be a couple so bad. I just love them so much. I feel like Tony isn't shipping them yet. Like, he doesn't really care.
Not yet. In time.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the whole Mac and Bobby thing, we're going to learn very soon that they're part of a second secret shield and they're sent to watch Coulson, which I hate. I got new headphones and they suck. They just fell out. But I
mean, they're spies. Of course, there's like some sort of weird, like they don't trust anybody. And it's funny too, because like, you don't trust Coulson? Like, oh, come on.
Yeah, I like seeing it from their perspective. And then we get Edward James Olmos, which is excellent. Like, I do like where it's leading. And there is this fun thing where like, they're not bad guys, but they are not lying. And it's all very interesting when it happens. I just wrote in my comments, Daisy next week, which we already talked about. And then I asked Tony the director question, because imagine if right now we told Tony that the show would end with Mac being the director. I feel
who would understand? He'd be like, what? wait, excuse me?
His brain would melt. What a crazy journey how important Mac is and becomes, and it makes me happy because I love Mac so much. One other thing I wanted to talk about was Tony and I watched Endgame last night. And I always think about like the end of Endgame with Cap and Peggy at the very end. I always, in the beginning, it was bittersweet because I wanted Peggy with Sousa from Agent Carter. And then I teased to Tony last night. I was like, just wait till 5.5 years from now when I can tell you why Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. saved this ending. Because once we get Daisy and Sousa, I don't give a fuck about Peggy anymore. Daisy and Sousa is like the most excellent surprise we've ever gotten, and it literally saved Endgame for me.
It's so funny the ending of that movie still engenders so much just emotion among the fan base. And you're right, if you don't remember Shield, you're like, well, that helps it a lot. Like that helps ease a lot of this. And I can't believe you guys are doing Agent Carter too. I'm like, that's gonna be so much fun. I did not.
It makes sense because there's no Shield at that time. It's the 10th anniversary, but it is on Patreon, so you got to pay $1 a month if you want to hear our hot takes on old Agent Carter. Respect if you give us $1 a month. We really appreciate that.
Nice.
Aaron, any other spoilery thoughts in general, words of wisdom?
Man, I just love as a person who's been on here 2 times now, I love that I was here for like a giant shoe about to drop last time, and I got to be here for a giant shoe to drop. Aaron Perine is now the flag of something big is gonna happen, Tony. If I'm in here, you need to be afraid. You need to figure out what's going on. Jamie's setting you up for something fun. So I am happy to carry that forward. Maybe not every single time, because then he'll know. He'll just be like, "Oh no, what's about to happen?" But yeah, I definitely laughed once I realized the second the rock effect started. I was like, "Oh no! Oh my God! It's this one." Jesus.
It is like next week is. I'm just so excited for next week. Just because it's just such a big episode.
It is.
Aaron, thank you so much for joining us. It's having you on here is so fun because we do this all the time anyway, so it really helps. We know how to do this together.
What are we without theories? And it's just so much fun with another person who's never seen this, not in like the same sort of like brain space. Poor boy, he has no idea. He's just sitting there having a good time talking about umbrellas.
And before we go, the chat wants to know what our inhuman powers would be. What would your inhuman power be, Aaron?
God, there's so many things.
Maria, you think of your answer too.
Go, Maria.
I'll answer first while you're thinking, because I would always pick teleportation. Like
really?
I would kill to be able to teleport places because I don't drive. It's really hard for me to get places. I just want to teleport. That would be my inhuman power.
I think like either something like Blink, like the X-Men, or maybe like shapeshifting. Probably, I would really dig that. A little double trouble action would be cool. Yeah, absolutely. I don't care. That's great.
Maria, what about you?
I feel like I would go with a oh my God, I can't remember which Marvel it is, but the Kamala Khan, the newest one, with the kind of like Monkey D. Luffy, like stretchy powers. Yeah. You can like turn your body into other things.
Cool. Okay. I like that. Thank you. And in the comments, if you haven't given your answer already, tell us what your inhuman power would be. Thank you everyone in the chat. We had a really poppin' chat today, which I always love to hear. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Maria. We'll be back next week, Sunday the 8th, to talk about a very important episode, what they become. See you then. Bye.